Hello. Hello. How are you? I'm confused. Just confused. Okay, now I get it. What is going on? It's Monday night. I didn't live stream last night, and I'm all just, like, what happened? What is going on? I'm going to check the sound for a minute because I get nervous. I checked it before, but let me see. Okay, here we go. Yeah, this is not the start that I had envisioned tonight. I envisioned, a happy, really like peppy start. Hey, like, how you guys doing tonight? Isn't it great? I'm live. It's Monday night. But I just don't have it tonight. I just don't have it tonight as far as, fake happy. If you're looking for fake happy tonight, this is not the place to be. Had a day. So we are going to talk about stuff tonight. We can talk about all kinds of things. We're going to talk about something I saw on Google Trends. I thought it was interesting, and I don't want to get thrown off YouTube for it, but I figure we'll talk about it and see what happens. I don't know the rules. I just don't want to get thrown off. I don't know. It's like sometimes I shy away from talking about stuff because it might be on the line. And I don't want to, I don't know. Let's see if we can get away with it. If not, then I'm sorry. And find me on Rumble. Find me on Rumble or where else am I? I think I'll do some local stuff soon. I just haven't gotten around to it. My old stuff is on Odyssey, but we're not friends right now because I don't want to upload things all over the place. Anyway, I don't want to get into my troubles too soon. We'll talk about that. We're going to talk about some stuff we saw on Twitter that, I have kind of I don't know. Sometimes there's stuff on Twitter that's so high level that it's not suitable for our space. But then some of the stuff is, not there. Anyway, then we're going to talk about some articles that I saw that I thought were kind of interesting. One of them was, is there a collapse in home prices? I mean, what's the definition of a collapse? We'll look at that. How to buy and sell a home at the same time. Now, look, that's a stupid idea. That's like, as a real estate agent here in St. Louis, I'm telling you that just try not to do that if you can ever get away with it. And then mortgage applications were going higher. We'll look and see like why. What's going on with that? For those of you who don't know me, my name is John Schenk. I'm the founder and managing broker of Deerwood Realty in St. Louis, Missouri. We're a small residential firm. It's just me right now. My favorite agent left, retired, didn't pack up and leave just on purpose, but just retired. We concentrate mostly on helping buyers buy homes and sellers selling theirs. At night, I do the Deerwood Realty live stream. It's a live stream, but it's a show. Sometimes we don't have anybody to chat with, so we just basically yap for a while. We talk about things, pop culture, real estate stuff, kind of mix the two. Not very often. But yeah, that's the show. And basically, it's every night around 9 o'clock Central Time. So if you're watching this like 3 years from now, I don't know what I'll be doing 3 years from now. I hope I'm in real estate, and I hope things are going well for me. But who knows? Who knows? So let's get into it, I guess. Let's start with the story that we all wanted to know about. What's going on with my sewer? What's going on with the kitchen sewer? I have two pictures I want to show you tonight. And then we'll go from there. So just to set it up. Okay. Oh, I got it wrong. I'm going to do this differently. Just to set it up for you, I have been, as you know, I've been fighting the sewer demon in the kitchen sewer for like 2 weeks now. And I finally got everything dug out, and it was still clogged. The one side was still clogged. So I called the sewer drain people to come out and snake the drain. Um, and then today, this is Monday. So what my plan was is they come snake the drain. Everything's good. We go to Lowe's or the plumbing supply store, pick up the parts I need to make the repair, and then now my wife has the kitchen sink and I have the kitchen sink now to use upstairs because I've made the repair. That doesn't mean I'm going to get the flooring back. It doesn't mean I'm going to get the room painted. It doesn't mean any of that stuff. It just means we can use the kitchen sink. Now, right now, to wash dishes, my wife has to walk all the way downstairs and use a utility sink that unfortunately the last time when I had it installed, it had a little bit of a leak and I just never got it fixed because I never used it that often. So now it's like reminding me and my wife every time she uses it, it leaks. And so that's no good. So we're just having some just plumbing issues now. The end was near. Like we were going to get it done. Like today was the day, and we were finally like we haven't had use of the kitchen sink now for 2 weeks, and so the guy comes in, brings the cutter, goes downstairs, starts. He says, "Well, the cutter's getting jammed about 4 feet in. Don't know what that's about." So he runs the cutter a few times. He talks to his boss. The boss says, "Try this." He tries something else, and then he pulls out the cutter, and the cutter has mud on it. Now, for you guys, you may think, "Well, what does that mean?" Well, what mud on the cutter means is that it's gone through the pipe. So what does that mean for me? I get to dig a complete new sewer line for my kitchen sewer in the basement, which means I have to take up all my flooring on the way to that cut. I have to take up all the underlayment. I have to take up everything. I have to cut through concrete, all for this stupid pipe that is just a mess. And I just want you to understand, like, I'm a homeowner as well. I don't want my clients to deal with stuff like this. I would never want them to deal with stuff like this because it's terrible. But if you think that as real estate agents, like we're just somehow we can defy the odds and never have anything wrong with our own houses, you'd be wrong. Owning a house kind of sucks sometimes, and this is certainly one of those cases. I had a question earlier this week, like, "Hey, John, don't you have homeowners insurance?" Yes, I do have homeowners insurance. They don't cover unless it's like mold and stuff, which we had some. They don't cover it, and I don't want someone else doing the work. I had my flooring. I did everything in the basement myself. When I finished it, it was a point of pride for me. I don't want to change the flooring. I like the flooring that I have. And basically what would happen if I had insurance, if I went to the insurance route, what they would do is they just tear everything out and then they would just raise my homeowners for the rest of my life. And if I tried to sell, I might have a difficult time getting homeowners insurance again. So to me, it doesn't make any sense. But I was talking to the guy and he's like, it's about $1,000. He looked at the hole that I cut in the ground. And let me show you that right now. So he looked at first thing he did when he got down there, he's like, "Man, that is some gorgeous work. Who did that?" Oh, shoot. There it is. So there's the hole. And I mean, I did do it. It was me. But now, like in this picture, you can see like I'll be cutting all the concrete right to here. Because what's the point now? What am I saving? Nothing. So I'll be cutting all the way to here. I'll probably take this piece of flooring up. So that's no big deal. And then I'll be running this all the way out. It goes to a different room right here. There's a door back in the back, and then it goes all the way to the other couple of the rooms. It's going to be a nightmare, but here's the evidence. See the mud? There you go. That ends it right there. Now, part of me was upset. Part of me felt like, why are you using this little cutter when it's a 4-inch pipe? I mean, that was obvious to me, like you would use a 4-inch pipe, but I honestly don't think that he went through I don't think he went through the pipe. I think it was damaged before. I don't think he's the cause of it. And so that's that. So now, like, I'm 45 years old. I'm not in like working man shape, like physical labor shape. I have been in the past, but not now. Manual labor shape. One of the days I had to take off. I was going to do a bunch of work, and I couldn't physically. I mean, I was all sore, just a mess. The amount of work that I'm going to have to do on this is just right now. It's making me very miserable, and so that's kind of tainting everything today. I'm not happy about it, but I mean that's what's going on. So, in my free time, which there's not a whole lot, I'll be working on the sewer now, and it probably won't be done until after Christmas. It's it's such a difficult deal for me because like I got to take off the baseboards, I got to take up the flooring without trying to break it. And then it was fine in that room because I just took off enough flooring to where I could just take off full pieces. But now as I get in these other rooms, I've got them specially cut for each spot. And even if I mark them, it's not off. I have to take off door frames, door trim. I mean, and then by the way, everything was done beautifully. I had a very nice finished basement. And I still will have a nice finished basement. I mean, there's no question, but it's just going to take so much work. And talking to the guy, he's like, "Do you know it's $1,000, about $1,000 a foot to do what you were doing?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I did, I did." And I'm going to have, I mean, it's like a 20 foot space. And you may say, "Well, John, why don't you just go to the part where it's broken, and then you can just tie on there?" Well, I'm already 4 feet further from where I started, and I think the rest of the pipe is only about 6 feet. So why wouldn't I just go all the way PVC at this point and be done with it? I mean, it's already destroyed. I'm already gonna have to go into the room anyway. Might as well just fix it. So you may say, "Well, John, you shouldn't have had you shouldn't have had it cabled. You should have made the repair and then got the guy to come over." Well, what good would that have done? Then I would have cut pipe and I would have had to just throw that out. It's very annoying. It's a very big deal, and I'm irritated. I'm irritated. I'm gonna do something I didn't want to do, but I'm gonna change the sensitivity just a little bit in the microphone. I don't know. Anyway, so that's my day in a nutshell. I got some offers for a condo. Um, I had to work those deals. I had an appraiser going to a house. I had to make sure that that was good. So I've had real estate stuff to do. Unfortunately, just the cloud that's been hanging over me um, since this morning it's just bad. My wife asked me if I wanted dinner. I don't want dinner. I don't want anything. I just want to sit and stew about the work that I have to do. Now you may say, "John, that's not a winning attitude." No, it's not. No, it's not a winning attitude. And you say, "Well, it doesn't matter. I don't really want a winning attitude right now. I want to sit here and be sad about what I know I'm going to have to do." I don't know. Even in my real estate career, like there are days that just suck, right? You get something goes wrong. I've always been one that's just like, okay, this sucks. And that's where I'm at right now. This sucks. So anyway, that's the update. I don't want sympathy or anything. I just want to be able to say that that's what the situation is. So let me get a drink and not hit the microphone. All right. Let's get to our Google Trends article. This is what I'm worried about. I'm worried about getting thrown off of YouTube for this. But let's get into it because I think there's like something there to learn. I'm not exactly sure what yet, but I kind of want to go over it and let's see what you all think. Okay. You should have it. It should be up here. Okay. So it should say, let me just check, make sure. So it says Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson met after a tweet. So are you familiar with what has happened? The quarterback of the Ravens. Okay. Somebody tagged him in a tweet, okay, about how terrible he was. And he responded in a way that was, I mean, I think pretty appropriate. I mean, I don't I don't understand how we've gotten to a place where like it's okay to just dump and criticism on someone, okay, regardless of how much money they make. And then if they respond in a negative way, which 9 times out of 10 I think anybody would, then you jump all over them and say they shouldn't have done that. I mean, I just don't understand. I mean, I can understand contempt for people that are wealthy, okay? I can understand contempt for politicians, okay? But I fully expect them to come at me if I come at them, right? Especially on like a digital medium. If the person's not in front of you, okay, and you're not worried about them just kicking your ass, like right there and right then, you know, you just spout all kinds of nonsense all the time and get away with it. So I don't know. It's weird to me, but let's go through it because the way the article's been characterized, I just don't understand. I mean, we just entered a new space in media where opinion enters the article, and it's like I didn't see that. So here we go. It says Baltimore Ravens coach John Harbaugh said Monday that Lamar Jackson's vulgar response to a critic on social media was out of character for the Pro Bowl quarterback, suggesting Jackson got trapped by someone baiting him. Okay, so this is fair. He did have a vulgar response. I'm not going to link to the tweet or even, anything about that because I don't want to get thrown off YouTube. I don't even know if this is going to get me thrown off YouTube. So he said, Harbaugh said he spoke to Jackson on Monday morning about this social media exchange. I just beg guys not to get in the Twitter world right after the game, especially after a loss. It's never going to be positive. It's not going to be a nice place, That's kind of reflected in Lamar's response because that's not the way he speaks. It's not the way he talks. It's not the words he ever uses. I've never heard him say things like that before. So here, look, the day I've had. Okay. For me, it's been just a massive disappointment. And let's just say somebody tags me in a tweet right now. Okay. I'm going to tell them just to go, go do something to themselves. That's just where I'm at. It doesn't seem wrong. I think some people would say, well, he's a figurehead of an organization. He's not allowed to be critical of others. I think there's a racial component to this. I really do. I think there's an elitist attitude that this man isn't allowed to express his contempt for someone that tagged him in a tweet. I mean, this is the way I see it. Okay. Like someone telling him like, you're not allowed to say that, and I don't find it appropriate. I mean, I don't find this as big of a story as it's been made. It said after Baltimore's 28-27 loss at the Jacksonville Jaguars on Sunday, a Twitter user, and it's not even spelled right. It says a Twitter used. That's our society in general is just going downhill. Okay. It's like we're just watching it just burn. It's just disgusting. But hey, whatever, right? And you say, well, we could argue about. I mean, come on, everybody has spell check now. I've had it for 20 years. Used Jackson in a tweet that read, "Someone asking for over 250 million guaranteed like Jackson. Games like this should not come down to the kicker." Like you're on a team, okay? The quarterback gets paid. He's a quarterback, and this guy is like, it's the kicker's problem. It's a stupid tweet. It was stupid, and like as far as saying like he got trapped. Well, he did, or baited into doing this. He sure did. And I think he responded in a way that one would expect to respond when, like, think about like your worst day. Okay. Do you really want somebody piling on you, telling you that you do a shitty job at your work? No, no. Says Jackson snapped back shortly afterward with a profane reply, saying, among other things, that the fan never smelt a football field, and he then added an anti-gay phrase. Now, you guys go look and see what he tweeted. I don't know that I didn't know that was an anti-gay phrase. I just thought it was a vulgar thing to say to someone. Like, I mean, and this is just me. Aren't all vulgar things like anti something? Or else they wouldn't be vulgar. So that I don't agree with the characterization of, you could have gotten by with saying he said something vulgar. I don't think that you had to throw anti-gay phrase in it. I mean, if you want to say something vulgar, you're saying it because you're angry. I mean, what was he? You know, I don't even understand what was he supposed to say. What is he allowed to say? If he's going to say something vulgar, there's a reason why it's vulgar. I can think of one. I've actually had a woman say something negative to me that way. And I mean, I've heard certain, and I'm like, wow, it was eat a bag of ducks, because the spell, the auto spell was, the autocorrect was like working in overtime. And I thought that was funny. She didn't say ducks, but I mean, I just don't know. Okay. I'm just confused by vulgar things being anti this or that. I've never even thought about it. So it was bizarre. Anyway, Jackson's tweet was deleted after 3.5 hours. Now, should he have deleted the tweet? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, have you ever been like to a basketball game where like you're on the front row and they're just heckling you? You know, like, maybe they don't do it anymore. I mean, like Mizzou had the antlers? I guess they don't have the antlers anymore. They're vicious. And it's like, I don't know. Anyway, it says, Lamar Jackson, you've been around him. He's got one of the biggest hearts of anybody I know. You've all seen him, the way he treats people, the way he treats kids, the way he treats the media, and he's one of the biggest competitors I've ever met. So those kinds of conversations he takes very seriously. You get trapped sometime by somebody who's baiting you just a little bit, and you can't live there. I think that's not a place he wants to be, and that's certainly not things he wants to say. Again, the guy came at him, and he let him know that he didn't appreciate it. I mean, really, I I just like, it was a normal exchange of pleasantries. And why, like, in 2022, why are we making what are we doing with this fake hero complex for sports stars? Okay. Are we still under the assumption that they do everything right and there's never any issues and they're not human and they're always perfect? I mean, are we still under this belief? Really? It says Jackson was visibly irritated during his media session after another uneven performance by the offense on Sunday. The Ravens were 2 of 5 in the red zone and had to settle for 3 short Tucker field goals in the first half, which kept the Jaguars in the game. Well, okay, so we're going to talk about sports things I hate. Okay, I hate when there's a game, okay, any game, football, hockey. I don't watch basketball. I hate when players before the game are friendly with each other. Okay? I hate that. I want to win. I want you to win, period. Okay. Another thing I hate is like if a player leaves your team, okay, they chose to leave. Like if they left in free agency, when they come back, we don't give them a standing ovation. Okay. They left for their own reasons. They're dead to us. That just irritates me. And then when you're getting beat by like 50 points and you start laughing, you're the team that's losing and you start laughing, or you talk smack, you're down by 50 points, like let's say in football, and you're talking smack. It's like, shut up. You're just it's so pathetic. So I want to see a player after a game be upset that they lost. This is appropriate and good behavior. So what was he supposed to be after they lost? Happy? Electric? Charismatic? It's stupid. What's wrong with you? Why would anyone think that? It says he wants to win. I'm sure he's frustrated just like we all are. And that's just a place you don't want to live right after a game. And I know he understands it. Look, the guy got tagged in a tweet. It's not like he was just patrolling Twitter looking for some fan to go off on. What is this? What world is this where you're not allowed to be mad that you lost the game? Somebody comes at you and says some ignorant stuff. You're not allowed to respond. Okay. And then if you do respond with a vulgar comment, there's got to be something attached to it that's like anti this or anti that. The whole purpose of throwing out a vulgar word is to let someone know, like, hey, I've had enough. I just don't get it. Like, I didn't get the memo where people were supposed to be happy that they lost the game, and that you're supposed. What are you supposed to send? You were supposed to send them flowers. Like, what are you supposed to do after you lose a game and someone comes at you? Nothing. You're not supposed to do anything. I understand. Nothing. Well, he didn't. He decided not to do nothing. He decided he was going to do something, and that's what he did. I just don't understand. I don't get it. I'm criticized often. Let me get a drink. My show is criticized. Sometimes I'll get a YouTube short get criticized. I'm boring. I don't know. But I typically don't tee off on people. I just say, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. Because it's their feeling. That's what I mean. I don't really care if one person doesn't like my show. I mean, there's days I don't watch my show. I mean, I already did it. Why would I watch it again? I don't understand. I was there. Let me know. Put it in the comment section. Put it in the chat. Am I wrong? I don't think so. I mean, don't go out of your way to don't stereotype a whole group of people like on your way out the door when you're angry. I mean, there's lines, right? I don't know. World's gone mad. Let's go to our. Oh man, I've got a mess. One day off, and everything goes to hell. Here we go. All right. Where are we? We're on the Deerwood Realty website. This is where you can get mortgage rates up to the day. 30-year fixed 6.62%, down from 6.64%. That's Monday. It's down 2 basis points. We're kind of been laying in a little like range here, kind of 6.6 to like 6.6 to like 6.7. Last 2 weeks have been kind of average, the way they used to be. Are deals able to be done? Yes. Are high interest rates problems? I mean, yeah, because of what's going to happen. But I don't know if I don't know if we're so untethered from reality anymore with our financing that maybe nothing will happen. I don't know. It's not a good situation. Let's go on to the next thing. We'll go on to the tweets. I might not make it the whole. I might. I don't know. I might run longer. I don't know what I'm going to do today. It's a very odd. I don't have my timing on today, so I apologize. I'm also clicking buttons all over the place. If you see like flashes on my face, that's me switching screens. It says U.S. This is the first tweet. It's from Unusual Wales. U.S. house prices could drop as much as 20% in the wake of the surge in mortgage rates, according to research from the Dallas Fed published last week. Last month, the nation's home buyers needed to make about 107,000 annually, up from about 74,000 a year earlier, to afford a median-priced home, according to Redfin. That's an increase of nearly 46%. It says, then somebody just typed down at the bottom, it says, just wait till people start walking away from their current houses as adjustable rate mortgages mature. I don't know that there's a whole bunch. I don't know that there's a whole bunch of adjustable mortgages. I only started seeing them later, like towards the end of the boom. So I don't know that there's going to be a whole lot of those. But think about it. I mean, you got to make, as a couple or a group, over $100,000 to afford a median priced home. I cannot afford a median priced home in the United States. And the ones I see that are the median priced homes are not homes I would want based on square footage and amenities. I'm very happy with my home. This was a new one for me. This is CH. It's Economica, and there's a whole bunch that they tweeted today, or he or they or whatever. I don't know. It could be, I don't care. I got nothing to go on with their thing, their profile. So here we go. Quick real estate update. Since the year 2019, the Northeast has added 488,000 new housing units on a decline of 770,000 employees, resulting in a median home prices raising about $278,000. Truth stranger than fiction. So, like typical economics say that, like, if you have people coming to your area, okay, and you're not building enough homes, the prices are going to go up. Okay, that would be standard economics. In this case, people are leaving to the tune of almost 1 million people. I mean, almost. I'm not trying to be using hyperbole, but I mean, it just sounds better than 770. I mean, I realize I'm missing it by 330,000. But anyway, you shouldn't have this rising. I mean, they're adding new units and you're still getting a rise in price. And then this one here, it says, since year 2019, U.S. has built 1.5 housing units per growth of one person. On a per capita basis, U.S. has never had more houses. There are another 1.7 million new housing units under construction. When experts explain there is a 3 to 5 million unit shortage of housing, ponder this. So it seems like there's an imbalance somewhere. There seems like there's something wrong. And I've heard people say, oh, we just need to build more houses. That'll bring down prices. Well, we seem to have many, many more houses and the prices aren't going down, which seems to indicate market manipulation. That's what it looks like. It looks like the Fed is playing with interest rates to get a desired outcome that is not a positive one. Let's continue on this. It says, this is also, it says, the number of adults per housing unit is unchanged. The number of children per housing unit continues to fall as per the census. And so if we just open this up, you see this occupants per household. I mean, it's just down. It's kind of down right here. And then on the next one, I don't know if, I guess I can't get that one from here. Here we go. Occupants per household under 18 years old. It's falling. Well, how can it be falling? It's not good. It seems like we're building more houses. Okay. And it seems like the pricing is not being affected like it should be. The prices are not going down, they're going up. It seems like there's no need for these houses being built, but yet the prices are going up. Very odd, wouldn't you say? This is from Stephen Punwasi. That's what we're going with. He's in Canada. Says Canadian real estate market investors capture more market share when rates fall. Does he think the same thing doesn't happen in the United States? It's very, very odd. We're living in odd times. I have condos listed for sale. The only people wanting to buy right now are investors. Why are they only investors buying? Because people can't afford a house in the price range that these condos are in. Regular single family homeowners can't afford these houses at this price. So we're creating a renter class basically. And like as a real estate agent, you say, well, John, if you have a bunch of buyers that want to buy rental properties, what do you care what happens to the house? Yes. Yes, that's right. There's this concept of the greater good. It's been abused very, very much so in the past decade or more. But like you have people that like the very, very wealthy will preach all these things about conservation of resources. And I don't know, I've never understood why. I guess because they're so guilty with the money that they've made that they feel like they need to tell others how to live their lives with less. But I just, I, I just think that there's something wrong when people can't afford homes. I mean, I just think that's wrong. And when investors can, it's not good. I don't want a permanent renter class. I would like people to own homes and just be able to live in them and enjoy them. I mean, it's very tough. And again, like if I have 15 investors that want to buy properties, I'm golden. But I don't feel like for the greater good that this is a good situation. I would like to not be in this situation. How about that? Now, the situation that I'm in currently, I don't have any investor clients. You say, why don't you have any investor clients? It's like, first of all, they hate real estate agents because we take a commission. Second of all, like if you found a deal as a real estate agent, and we could, why do I want to help out an investor when I could just buy it myself? And you say, well, that's selfish. I'm just saying that that's true. And do you think that there's real estate agents that aren't just investors covered in the name real estate agent? I'm just putting it out there. I hope it doesn't cause problems for you. Next one here, Ryan Lundquist. That's the Sacramento appraiser. Invitation Homes has hit the pause button in the Sacramento region. Not a shocker. They haven't acquired anything since summer. This is similar to the iBuyer model, slowing way down. But Open Door hasn't stopped as they've closed on 61 units since August. Let me clarify that the iBuyer model really has slowed way down. Open Door typically owns 300 to 330 properties in Sacramento at any given time, but right now they have 227 units per tax records. OfferPad only owns 8, and Redfin only owns 10. Well, Redfin's getting out, so they're selling at a loss. OfferPad, don't know much about them in that market. And then Open Door, the blood that you will see, the blood that you would see spilled when in the marketplace when they report earnings for next quarter is going to be impressive. Okay. I mean, really impressive. And maybe they will top $1 billion in a quarter in losses. Okay. Maybe. I don't wish that on him. But man, it's going to be something. Darth Powell. I think this is really nice. Okay. Darth Powell, you have to understand, he's a, how do I put this? I wouldn't say he's not a positive person. He's cynical. I'm also cynical. The real Kiyosaki, it says, many of you know I don't invest in bonds, equities, bonds, ETFs, or MFs. Please do not listen to what I'm going to say next. I would get out of paper assets. The world economy is not a market. I believe economy is the biggest bubble in world history. God have mercy on us all. And then so he came at Robert Kiyosaki with, we know how you and all real estate investors have made money. And then he has this chart. It says, getting rich 1980s to the present. Make terrible financial decision to buy something with too much debt. Struggle for a short time from your poor financial decision. Federal Reserve manipulates the cost of capital lower. Asset prices manipulated higher, allowing you to refinance, sell, or rent. I'm a financial genius. And then somebody else wrote, selling books. It's true. It's true. I've seen it in my own life. Like, look, how do you have a house? How do you have a house that you've never done anything with, and it just goes up in value, like 40%, 60%? How do you have a rental? No one spent any money on the rental since 1960, and somehow it's worth more now than it was, relatively any other time. It just doesn't make any. It's just madness. Madness. The whole thing is just nuts. Moving on now, I did a little something different here. This gets in a little bit of more economics than I'm normally doing, but it says Fed President John Williams on October 3rd, the unemployment rate will rise to around 4% by the end of 2023. Today, I anticipate the unemployment rate will climb. This is from today. I anticipate the unemployment rate will climb to between 4.5% and 5% by the end of the year. The end of next year, I'm sorry. Okay, so that's 2023. And then she writes, that shift has happened since the Fed's September economic projections. We may well see the unemployment projection nudge up in the December forecast. That would line up with the higher terminal rate that many officials have foreshadowed, and suggesting the landing will be less soft. Look, now, like, let me try and frame this in a way that I see it. Okay. Let's say you're a 30-something youngster. Your whole life is ahead of you. You're starting off your career in somewhere in real estate. Okay. Let's say development. Okay. And you know what? Everything you touch turns to gold. You are the best. And every night you go to bed and you thank God for all of the wonderful, wonderful gifts you've been given. But then you see the Fed, and the Fed is raising rates. The Fed is openly discussing unemployment at the 5%, or it's going to be higher when this thing turns. 5% unemployment would be a dream. And eventually, let's just say you keep in this. So you're 30, around 35, the Fed does this. Okay. And the Fed over tightens, the economy eats it. And now you're out of a job at 37. The development company blew up, couldn't service their debt. What did you do wrong? What did you do wrong? You went to work every day. You blame God. You say, God, why did you do this? Why did you do this to me? I would point my angst and animosity to a different direction. I would point it at the Fed. Why did you do this? Why did you let this happen? Your only job is to keep the economy strong, keep us from having booms and busts. And what do? You totally tank the economy. You know that millions of people are going to lose their jobs because of your decisions. I'm not an economist. In January, I'm saying, look, inflation's going to murder. I mean, this is a terrible, terrible situation. Do something. And then I'm hearing that it's transitory. Inflation's it's going to be fine. There's some supply chain interruption. It really doesn't matter what's going on when you have inflation, because it's not going to go down. It goes down very slowly. So you're this, 35-year-old wonderkind developer that now has no money, completely in debt, has to walk away from your $500,000 house. Like you, and what did you do? And people will say, well, you deserve it. You're a developer. They always make all kinds of money. It's your fault for failing. As a developer, you have to make a huge return on your investment because of the risk. What's the risk? Interest rate risk. The Fed coming in one day and saying, we're done. But I just want you to understand, like, don't kid yourself. They want people to lose their jobs. That will help with the inflation numbers and bring those down. Okay? It's just I have a hard time understanding how a group of people who won't lose their job when the economy tanks are openly cheering and making an effort to get people to not have jobs. This is Diane Swonk. She loves the Federal Reserve. She's always defending them, and that's okay. This is the Fed edging closer to a hard landing scenario without really wanting to say it. Now, by the way, when you say hard landing, okay, hard landing means people are going to lose their jobs and the economy is going to go to dog poo. Okay. But they're economists and they've probably been to school, probably been to a graduate school. And so they can't say that. They have to come up with stupid words like hard landing, soft landing. People are going to lose their jobs. That said, we are seeing more and more talk about an escalated risk of recession. This is not new info, but financial markets have been reluctant to embrace Fed messages. That makes the Fed's job harder. Now, look, Diane Swonk saying, you stock traders, don't make the market rally when the Fed speaks. Okay? You need to feel shame and remorse and not go buy those stocks. The strong stock market is what's hurting the Fed's ability to stop raising rates. So it's not the Fed's problem, it's Wall Street's problem. But the weird sort of thing about that as it's not the Fed's problem now, when Wall Street eats it, the Fed will be asked to come and fix it. It's disheartening. This is the last one on Twitter, and I thought this was interesting, and I'm concerned. It says new Vanguard Group data through October 22nd, 2022 show hardship withdrawals and loans from retirement accounts are ticking up in 2022, suggesting that more households are in need of cash. I don't believe in the second part. It says there's also a longer run increase in households withdrawing rather than borrowing from their retirement accounts. Employers having an increasingly important role to play in helping workers balance their short and long-term financial needs. So her thing is employers just need to raise pay, and then you wouldn't have to take out money on your retirement. It's like, well, I mean, what is going on? Okay, look, if inflation is as bad as I think it is, and people literally can't afford things, and so they're having to dig into their savings, their credits, their lines of credits available to them, that ain't good. Like that means right now, and the economy is not terrible. What happens at 5% unemployment? Then what? Let's move to articles. For nice. This is from Axios. It says collapse in quotes in home prices is coming, experts say. What does that mean? I need to know what that means. I'm not trying to be smart. I'm just asking, what does that mean? It says the residential real estate market has screeched to a halt. I mean, nationally, yes, in pockets, no. And some economists believe home prices are about to drop significantly. By the way, notice how when the news favors those in charge, it's some economists believe, And then when it goes with the news, all experts agree. There's no way. There's never been a consensus on anything, and yet we're always led to believe that all experts agree on something. It's fascinating how the truth gets twisted. It says the big picture: existing home sales have fallen for 9 straight months. The supply of single-family homes is growing, and with mortgage rates near 7%, experts say a large-scale housing slowdown is becoming increasingly likely, which is stupid because it's already here. What they're saying in one line: collapse in prices coming, wrote Kieran Clancy, senior U.S. economist at Pantheon Macroeconomics. Pantheon estimates that existing home prices will keep falling, ultimately dropping about 20% from their June peak, about 414,000. So what? If you're up 40% and you drop 20%, what is the problem? That's not a collapse. A collapse is every house goes to zero. Then you've got a problem. It says what they're saying in one line. Goldman Sachs analysts also recently cut their outlook for home prices from roughly flat next year to down 4%, noting that unsustainable levels of housing affordability to continue weighing on housing demand. Between the lines, until recently, economists had poo-pooed the prospect of a nationwide price slump. See, now until recently, economists. Now it's not some or all. It's just, I think it's all, right? When you don't put something before economists, put the poo-pooed the prospect of a nationwide price slump, suggesting that persistently low inventories of houses to buy would put something of a floor under the market. Now, did you see what we talked about in our tweets today? Let me see if I can remember who said it. It was the CH guy. He said, we're building all kinds of houses, population's dropping, and yet home prices have increased 248%. That runs counter to this narrative in Axios. I'm just pointing it out for you because this is the type of analysis that I tried to bring to you. It's like, look, one of these things isn't right. We're only going to know like in time. But I mean, you shouldn't be surprised if we're talking about it. It says, even if demand fell because of surging mortgage rates, they reason there would still be enough buyers for the relatively small number of homes for sale, meaning prices likely wouldn't drop much. That's the Lawrence Yun approach. He's the economist for the Realtors Association, National Association of Realtors. It says, yes, but while analysts are coming around to the idea that house prices could see a correction, they still don't expect an outright bust, which is what? Is that 40%? If a collapse is 20%, is a bust 40? That's just it. We're having trouble with definitions of words here. I don't know what we're doing with this. This is I feel what we're doing is writing sensational sensational headlines. Okay, so that we can somehow, I don't even know the word, so that we can somehow sell more clicks. And I put it in mine. I put housing prices collapse in my YouTube video. I'm not ashamed to do that. But what I do know is no one really watches my stuff anyway. So like one good title isn't going to get like 50 people watching. It says unemployment rates remain low. What happens when it's 5%? And most homeowners who bought in recent years have locked in rock bottom rates, making their payments affordable. Not if you don't have a job. Not if you're already reaching in your savings to support your kids' travel volleyball select team. That means a surge in defaults like the one that crashed the U.S. housing market in 2008 and 2009 is unlikely. Yes, that's true. We don't know what could happen, but it's probably not good. That's what I would say. Just because we haven't seen this particular play before, it still ends the same way. Despair, sadness. Bottom line, some decline in home prices is likely in the offing. It won't be a disaster. And so it might be a collapse. It's not a disaster, and it's definitely not a bust. And lower prices will be welcomed by frustrated would-be buyers. I don't know. moving on. How to buy and sell a home at the same time in today's haywire, high interest rate housing market. Number one, John Shink, realtor. Do not try to buy and sell a house on the same day. You say, why? Well, I'll tell you from experience. Okay. I once had a buyer trying to buy a house. Okay. And the seller was selling their house to my buyer and buying a house that same day because they were going to use the cash. Well, my buyer lost his job, couldn't close on that day, had to wait a week. Just couldn't do it, could not close. Bank wouldn't let him close. Say, well, the seller, made out like a bandit because they could fine your buyer and all. And no, really, there's not a whole lot you could do. You're going to try and get out of the contract when you want to sell the house. But now the seller has to move off. So the house they're buying, okay, that seller also has to move out. And there's a good chance that seller is also buying a house. So you've affected like 6 people with one failure in the chain. No, not a good idea. Don't try and buy and sell a house on the same day. Avoid it if at all possible. Can you do it? Yes. Does it work out? Sometimes. Is it worth it? No. Buying a house while simultaneously selling your current home is always a treacherous tight wire to traverse. Absolutely never do it. But in today's high-priced, high-interest rate housing market, it's both a blessing and a curse. Show me the blessing. It says the good news for home sellers is over the past year, demand for homes has driven prices through the roof, pushing home equity to record levels. Homeowners are essentially sitting on a pile of cash, which would definitely come in handy if they start shopping for a new home. Buying a house with manipulated asset prices is a wealth transfer. You're basically buying a transferred wealth. The person that has the wealth, that's accumulated the wealth, is transferring that to you, the buyer. But they get all this. They get all the spoils. You just get the payment. Yet any home buyer out there today will also face steep mortgage interest rates, which more than doubled over the past year to the 7% range. That has raised the cost of housing by about 70% compared to a year earlier, according to a recent analysis by Realty.com. Most sellers who move would need to get a new mortgage at a higher rate. It's no wonder that many are deciding to stay put. There you go. 2/3 of homeowners right now are sitting on a sub 4% mortgage, and about a quarter are sitting on a sub 3% mortgage, said Lisa Sturdivant, chief economist of the Bright MLS. And so you can imagine existing homeowners, even if they wanted to move, are really reticent to give up their very favorable mortgage rate. It's like golden handcuffs where you're locked in. Yes, this is exactly right. The problem with that is so people that lose their jobs might have to sell. People that get divorced might have to sell. People that have kids might have to buy and sell because maybe the house is too small. It says still, it's worth noting that some home sellers might be able to justify and absorb the highest interest rates since their home sale will likely bring a windfall of cash. And in theory, that money could go towards making an all-cash offer on their next house and getting a very good deal on it too. That is fantasy land thinking right now. It says, with home prices still high and buyer competition thinned out due to mortgage rates, it may be a good time for some sellers to make a move, especially those who may not need a mortgage to make their next home purchase. Says, hell, those are the only people that can't afford houses. Still, an all-cash offer is a lot of financial eggs in one basket. Is it worth the risk? It's not for us to decide. If you're one of these homeowners sitting on a nice chunk of equity and looking to sell your house and buy another at the same time, there are ways to navigate today's current financial terrain to your advantage. Okay. All right. Well, let's find this out. This ought to be good. I mean, this really ought to be good. I'm really looking forward to this. The first question most home sellers ask themselves, should I buy or sell first? Each decision comes with its distinct pros and cons. Buying first gives you an opportunity to move out before putting your home on the market, Hale says. That helps the seller avoid the headache of living in a home that is for sale, which means keeping it in pristine condition and being ready to vacate often when buyers want to stop by for a tour. On the other hand, selling first lets you know just how much you'll make on the sale before shopping for your next home, but it may mean finding a temporary place to live in between. And how expensive will that be? Very expensive. During the boom times of, earlier this year, do you know how mean This is how stupid agents are and mean. They'd be like, okay, like understand, at the end of the day, we all want to make money. Okay. So we can help feed our families or buy a Porsche because everybody thinks real estate agents are wealthy. Anyway, so what you tell your, like, say somebody's thinking about buying a house, okay, but they have to sell theirs. You say, well, hey, why don't we put your house on the market and sell it, and then you can go buy a house, okay? Yeah, good luck with that when it takes a year or more just to find a house to buy. Where are they going to live? Genius, stupid, stupid. But it's a way to force your clients to sell, okay, and then you've got to take them around to help buy. So you get a double deal automatically. Whereas if you say you should go buy something first, if the transaction doesn't go well, maybe they can use their real estate agent. So you don't get that listing. I'm just saying, if you think about it, you might come to the same conclusion. It says, Hale suggests asking yourself the following questions if you're planning to sell and buy at the same time. Well, let's first of all see if I got the article up, because I had a little moment of fear there. Where do I want to live next? What good is that going to help me? Like, seriously, that's that. Anytime you want to go buy a house, that's a question you might want to answer. How disruptive will it be to have the home I live in on the market? Well, so what? Do you know how disruptive it's going to be when you actually move? Can I handle the possibility of 2 mortgage payments? If so, and for how long? Not good. Not good. While buying first allows you to avoid the annoyance of finding temporary living quarters and moving twice, it's definitely more risky financially. It definitely is, especially if your agent gives you some BS price for the sale of your home. So they're in the, say a house, say you move to a house and your agent says, oh yeah, when we sell your house, it'll be worth like 300,000. And then you go to sell it and it doesn't bring like 220. I mean, you're just in such a world of hurt at that point. Oh my God. Why would you do that? Like, why, as a human being, I mean, first, and then real estate agent second, why would you even do that? And then if your old property does not sell quickly, you could end up paying for 2 properties at once. This is a particularly strong possibility right now, since homes are lingering longer on the market than they did last year. And the market is bound to get even more sluggish if mortgage interest rates remain high, and as we glide toward and beyond the holidays. Yeesh. Options for sellers who want to buy first. For those who do want to buy first, there is some risk, but also some great upside if done correctly. There are bridge loans that will allow for short-term use of equity from your current property to serve as a down payment for the next property if this is needed. This can position you to take a non-contingent offer and secure a much better price or better terms. Yeesh. Current rates on bridge loans range from 6% to 16%, with the idea that you're paying off the loan as quickly as possible as soon as your original house sells. We already got 30 days on a home sale. Ugh. Homeowners are want and need to sell quickly. Also have many new options today for getting it sale fast. The bright sell, oh Jesus. One bright spot for today's sellers is that there's much more innovation in the real estate landscape and ways to get assistance with buying and selling at the same time than ever before. Yeah, like remember Ribbon.com or Ribbon? They're down to 30 employees. Yeah, that's not good. For instance, sellers can skip the traditional listing process entirely and field offers from investors and iBuyers who buy their home quickly with all cash. Not for long. Not for long. Options for sellers who want to sell before buying. Okay, let's try and figure this out. For homeowners who prefer to sell first, one way to avoid moving into temporary accommodations is to negotiate a leaseback from your home's buyers, where they agree to let you remain in your current home paying rent until you find a new home you want to buy. Seriously. Do you really think in this market now, a buyer is going to say, oh, you know what? I've been through the housing market wars trying to buy a house for 2 years. Okay. I've been spat on. Okay. Kicked around. You know what? Here, you want to sell your house? Oh, you want to go buy a house first, and you want me to pay you rent, or you want to pay rent to me so I can't move? Yeah, no. You know what? I'll just buy some other house where I don't have to deal with that. Should sellers make an all cash offer if they can? If you've built up some sizable home equity and your home sale gives you enough to make an all-cash offer on your next place, that's an attractive prospect in today's high interest rate environment. It can also get you a deal since all-cash offers typically result in a 3 to 4% discount over financed offer. No, it doesn't. What world are you living in? I don't care if it's an all-cash offer. I don't care if there's a mortgage. The only thing that is an all-cash offer is really the appraisal contingency. And if you dump that on a mortgage, I'm going with it. This is so stupid. Maybe somewhere else also. By the way, maybe in California, this is common. In the St. Louis marketplace, an all-cash offer does not get you a 3 to 4% discount. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. An all-cash offer might be tempting to try, since it'll likely set you apart from any competition you may have from mortgage-backed buyers. That said, you should not feel the need to funnel all your proceeds into an all-cash offer if that makes you uncomfortable or stretches your finances too thin. Now, let's just do some quick numbers here. Average price of a home, median price of a home, $414,000. Okay. Okay, so you bought a starter home. Let's say you bought a starter home. Starter home is going to sell for maybe $250,000, and you haven't paid that off. So where are you coming up with all this cash to buy this next house? The proceeds from the house that's only worth $250,000, and you still have a mortgage on it that you have to pay off at closing? This is fantasy land thinking for 98% of the population. Don't pay all cash because you think you have to have the most competitive offer. Well, all cash offers ruled during the ultra competitive market last year. There's no longer the case today. Another option is less risky, but still helps your offer stand out, is to finance a smaller portion of the property. If there's an opportunity to put 50% down, it makes it a little bit easier to swallow that bitter pill of a 7% mortgage rate if you're financing a lower loan. Well, again, also true in every market. Hale adds that with mortgage rates near 2-decade high, minimizing the amount of borrowing you need to do to buy the home can make a big difference. Oh, really? You don't say. This is basic financing. Another option is to make an all-cash offer, then get a mortgage on your home later once interest rates go down. Or say you're going to do an all-cash offer and then switch into a mortgage. An alternative to all-cash offers, become a certified home buyer. Oh, this ought to be good. Home buyers without as much equity built up in their home have other ways to keep their offer on new homes competitive. Hardy points to the strategy becoming a certified home buyer, which allows sellers to close quickly without the need for a loan contingency. Similar to a mortgage pre-approval process, the process to becoming a certified home buyer requires proof of income, assets, employment identity, and credit score. The difference is that all financial documents are reviewed by an underwriter, which gives you conditionally approved for financing. Okay, that's like pre-approval. Well, we found this is a great way to help a seller feel comfortable in accepting our client's offer and secure terms quite close to what a cash offer would receive. The end result is a buyer can better use the cash and can now reinvest as desired, and has also purchased a new property at a much better price. What? Certified home buyer. Seller feel comfortable in accepting our client's offer and secure quite close. The end result is the buyer can better use the cash and can now reinvest as desired, and also purchase a new property at a much better price. I don't understand. We're just done with that. I saw this on Real Estate News. I've not focused on this particular publication. Let's see what they have to say. Mortgage applications trend higher in mid-November. The number of home loan applications rose for 2 straight weeks this month, coinciding with falling interest rates. Very hard for me to believe this. says it's a 2-minute article. Let's see if we can make it a 10-minute article. Home mortgage applications increased from November 4th to November 18th, marking the first time in 3 months that the number of borrowers rose for 2 consecutive weeks. The number of mortgage applicants in the U.S. rose 2.2% for the week that ended November 18th, which followed a 2.7% application increase from the previous week, according to the Mortgage Bankers Association, which published a weekly application survey. The latest increase was on a seasonally adjusted basis and took into account the Veterans Day holiday. Joe Can, Deputy Chief Economist with the MBA, attributed the rise to more favorable borrowing rate for 30-year home loans. Can told the Real Estate News that he expects average mortgage rates to hover at 6.7% for the rest of the year. Do you really think that buyers are coming back to getting mortgage applications because the rates dropped 40 basis points? I feel like that there's got to be more to that. It says the average mortgage rate had dipped to 6.67 over the same period, the lowest rate in 2 months. This is still a period of extremely elevated volatility, so rates can move quickly both up and down in a short span of time. However, incoming data suggests slowing of inflation, slower wage growth, and other signs that the U.S. and global economies are headed toward a slowdown next year are consistent with our current forecast, and we expect the 30-year fixed rate to average 6.7% in the fourth quarter. There's nothing wrong, in my opinion, with coming up with, like they've come up with, 6.7% as their number, as a forecast, and then give a strong basis of explanation for why you believe that it'll be 6.7%. Like, it has to be sellable. It has to be believable. Like, some of the things we read are not believable, and so it makes no sense. This does. Okay, fine. You think it's going to be 6.7% in the fourth quarter? I mean, we're already in the fourth quarter. So, I mean, you basically got a month. You got to hope for a month that the mortgage rates, and right now they're at 6 point what? We did at the beginning of the show, 6.62%. Yeah, 6.62%. So, I mean, they're right below where they need to be. It says mortgage purchase applications for the week ending November 18th were still much lower than they were for the same week a year ago, off by more than 40% from the same period in 2021. Well, I mean, come on. We just went through probably the hottest housing market I've ever seen for sellers and for buyers. I mean, buyers got great value if they were able to get in on a good property early. Ken said earlier this month that more favorable mortgage rates should improve the purchasing power of home buyers who have been largely sidelined as mortgage rates have been more than doubled in the last year. Applications to refinance homes also went up 2% for the week that ended November 18th. But the number of borrowers seeking to refinance is still 86% lower than the same week in 2021. I have no idea who would want to refinance at 6.4 or higher or a little lower rates. I mean, especially when their neighbors at 3%. Although the Federal Reserve does not directly control mortgage rates, rate hikes since March 2022 to rein in inflation have led to higher costs to borrow money and buy and refinance homes and cars. Ask me how the car market is doing. I also pay attention to that. So anyway, the thesis is that mortgage rates or mortgage applications are up because mortgage rates are down. My thesis is I don't think anybody cares about it being down 40 basis points. That's not the main driver of somebody getting a mortgage. I think that there's just life events happening more frequently now than there were, 2 months ago. It's just my thought. I could be wrong. Well, man, we had a show tonight. I'm happy with the show. I worked hard on the show. I'll be honest with you. I worked harder on the show because we're going so badly today. I felt like I needed a good show. I felt like I needed, if I put in the research, if I put in the time to get a great show, like, you never know. Okay. But if you got the data, if you've got the strong data for the strong content, you have a much better chance of having a good show. And I think tonight I had enough data. I had a good enough time, ability to put things together and get a good shot there. Tell me what you think. You may have hated it, and if you did, I'm sorry you feel that way. See how I responded. I'll be back tomorrow night. Maybe things will be better. Maybe I'll start on the flooring tomorrow. I don't think so. I already know what tomorrow is going to be. I got a property inspection tomorrow morning at 9, and then I've got to hang Christmas lights, and then probably negotiate a deal. We'll see. Anyway, thank you for watching tonight. I will see you tomorrow night. Goodbye.